Yesterday, President Biden made a speech in Poland, and towards the end of his speech, he ad-libbed something uh, that was in the speech. Um, he said, I quote, Putin cannot remain in power. That didn't set too well with a lot of people. Naturally, the White House walked it back. Um, but when you look at what he was thinking, that of course, and we're all thinking that, but you wouldn't think the president of the United States would come out with a comment, at least this stage in the game, to say something like that on the record. But they walked it back, and the news cycle picked it up, and it's going to be there for 24 hours. And so, regardless, the point is that he said something as far as encouraging a regime change in Russia. So let's look at that for a minute, and see what the pros and cons are. I've made a video, a couple of them, um, referring to or with regards to the regime change in Russia. So, whenever we call for a regime change in a particular nation, especially an authoritarian regime, we have to be careful, because here's the problems with it. When you look at, for instance, Egypt, when Hosni Mubarak was overthrown after the Arab Spring, um, the the people of Egypt freely elected uh, Mohammed Morsi, who was a Muslim Brotherhood member for many years. And you might recall that he was overthrown as well. But when you look, if you study that part of it, how for the Arab Spring, the free elections brought about Mohammed Morsi, who was pretty much a radical, a fundamentalist Muslim Brotherhood member, and we knew that that would not work out, because here we wanted, everyone wanted Hosni Mubarak gone, and we didn't know who was going to replace him. So the primary problem with asking for or hoping for a regime change, the issue then remains who replaces the current regime. So whether it's Egypt, the theocratic regime in Iran, the thing that we would have to really be very careful of is, if you take this individual out, specifically speaking, now I'm speaking of Vladimir Putin, who replaces him, and what that individual or individuals would look like. So, are they going to follow the specific guidelines in order to be a nation that basically cooperates with the current world order? So, or they're going to try to tear the world order down. And Russia is a superpower. It has over 6,500 nuclear warheads. So this is not some small nation we're talking about that could be. It wouldn't really matter if someone else replaces him. It really does matter who replaces him, and what that individual is like, and what their history is, and where they feel that the nation needs to go in their point of view. So, say for and as an example, if Putin was replaced and someone else took over, that was basically also a former Soviet hardliner. It's going to be very difficult to bring someone in Russia or for the Russian people to elect or bring into power that didn't have ties to the old former Soviet republic. So that's where the issue is, and that's what the problem is. I'm not saying that we do not want to get rid of Vladimir Putin. It would be nice to see him go because he has taken the Russian people in the wrong direction. So, that said, who replaces him? That is the primary issue there that one has to study and look at and say, okay, this individual would be replaced by this person or this group, and here's what their ideologies are as far as their nation in relation to the rest of the world. So easier said than done. I understand President Biden called for an indirect regime change. I know he was thinking that. He shouldn't have said that, but it didn't set too well in Russia, of course, considering what the message there was to the Russian people. And that said, I would leave it at that for now, but studying who replaces the particular regime, the current regime, is more important than us just wishing that Vladimir Putin is gone and someone else comes in and takes over.